Good evening, my friends. This is Paul. And have you ever played Super Smash Bros. Melee and Beyond in the series and wondered where this guy came from? As well as this guy, and this guy came from? Well, so did I. Apparently, he's a nameless character that was named Mr. Game & Watch because he appeared on a series of handheld games that Nintendo called Game & Watches, because it had both a game and a watch on it, because apparently they didn't make enough of these back in the 80s. And you could also set an alarm. Yay. Anywho, I managed to pick up Game & Watch Collection at Disc Replay today for only $12. I was really excited when I got this too, because I was on the verge of putting it away when I said, wait a minute, that's a Club Nintendo exclusive, isn't it? So I couldn't pass up this amazing opportunity. And now I can see why Nintendo gave it out for free, because this is the kind of game, well, collection to be more accurate, where it's the kind of thing that would sell for about 99 cents on the DSiWare eShop, and then you'll forget about it after that. So, why was it so special to be promoted in Club Nintendo, you ask? Well, I turned on the game, and I saw this big, bold Club Nintendo logo on the top screen. Cool, so far. Then I get to the menu. There are 3 games, and the option to set an alarm. I tried pressing a whole bunch of buttons to see if maybe there was some secret option, or something that maybe I was missing. No, there were 3 games: Oil Panic, Greenhouse, and Donkey Kong. So I decided to try them in this order. First, I tried Oil Panic, where on the top screen you're controlling a man that's trying to grab drops of oil from a leaky pipe and then spill them out the window onto another guy who's carrying a jar so that the oil doesn't spill onto the customers below that are trying to fill up their gas tanks, and they'll yell at you. You get a point taken off of the bottom screen if you spill oil on a customer, and you get a point taken off of the top screen if you let a drop spill on your fireplace and cause a fire to spread in your house. It's honestly a lot more confusing than it sounds, because you're like panicking to try to grab the oil, but you only have so much capacity, and then you have to make sure that the guy is behind you. And for the first couple of seconds, I didn't even know what I was supposed to do. It was a nice little history lesson to think, oh, so that's where that stage came from in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. But other than that, I found it to be the least interesting of the 3 games. Thank goodness I played it first. Next, I decided to try Greenhouse, thinking that it would be similar to the Lion Tamer game in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Well, it turns out that that's a different game altogether. In Greenhouse, you basically take on the role of Stanley the Exterminator from Donkey Kong 3, and you have to climb up and down a ladder trying to spray bug spray at bugs that are climbing down these webs and vines trying to make flowers wilt. Yeah, one little bug can destroy a whole flower. Unlike the Oil Panic minigame, you only have one set of hits. Flower dies, and you lose a hit. It's actually a lot more fun than it sounds. I found myself really having to strategize where I had to position myself, because there were 4 different locations the bugs could shoot from. Then I had to prioritize, okay, should I send the spider this far up the web, or should I wait until it's close enough so I can kill it? But then do I take out these 2 bugs up here with 1 squirt? It was surprisingly exhilarating, and I think that alone would be worth the price of admission. Possibly. That's kind of stretching it a bit, because again, these games have not really been updated to modern standards. Then I tried Donkey Kong, and that was by far the most cinematic, if you can call it that for a Game & Watch title. Basically, it's an abridged version of the original Donkey Kong, where the jumping and steering controls are significantly smoother, but you don't have a hammer this time. Instead, you jump over barrels until you reach the top of the construction site, where you pull the lever, and then you go over to the swinging crane, and then you have to jump on the crane so that the crane takes you to one of the hooks that's attached to Donkey Kong's podium, and eventually once you detach all the hooks, Donkey Kong falls flat on his face, and you get a ton of points. You're probably wondering, Okay, Paul, that's all fun and games, but where's the goal in all of this? Well, I seem to have a habit of buying those games, don't I? There is no goal to Game & Watch collection. The only goal, if you could call it that, is getting as high of a score as possible. And I'm pretty sure no one in their right mind is going to want to play any of these games long enough to reach as high as the Game & Watch counter can go, which I presume is 999, because that seems to be a pattern. Nintendo games don't seem to like just 100 or 1,000. They has to have 99, 999, yay. A couple of things that are meh, so additions to this version are you can play Game A and Game B. Game B being a slightly tougher version of the games. In the case of Donkey Kong, you have the ability to bump your head if there's a construction rail that's above you. And also, you can see the outline of every single possible frame of animation, which is both a blessing and a curse because it helped me slightly figure out what I was supposed to do in some of the more confusing games. But on the other hand, it also slightly took me out of the experience, almost as if too much stuff was happening at once. Overall, I just finished playing it a couple of minutes ago, and I don't see myself returning to it anytime soon unless I'm absolutely bored out of my mind, but I can think of several titles that are better than this. I think a lot of people are going to think that this game is more awesome than it is, merely because it tries its best to replicate the original Game & Watch days from a dual-screen perspective, and because it was a Club Nintendo exclusive, so it's kind of become somewhat of a collector's item. However, because it doesn't spruce up the graphics or sound, apart from a title theme, you're really kind of just getting some vintage Game & Watch titles on one DS cartridge and not much else. It's not a terrible game by any means, but definitely a game that you should realize that there's only like maybe 15 minutes worth of content, if you could call it that, on this, and then you'll probably be done and forget about it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and until the next time, keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Bye.